Hi everyone, and welcome to the Practice Growth with Pras podcast. I'm your host, Pras Murthy, CFO and co-founder at Dr. Multimedia, where for the last 10 years I've been helping practices grow all across the country. We started this podcast so we could dive deeper into the issues around practice growth, from online marketing to the way you run your business. We know doctors are busy people and you don't have a lot of time to study these kinds of topics, so we're hoping this audio podcast makes it really easy to stay up to date with what's going around the country. We'll be interviewing top doctors, successful practice managers, and other experts in the field. Without further ado, let's get started. So, anytime we ask a client what their best form of business is, they always say word of mouth. It's just a universal answer, and it rings true in almost any business, including our own. You know, when you talk about referrals, you're talking about clients telling other clients, or just people generally being happy, the easiest place to get new business is from the network of your existing clients or patients. That's always been true. But the thing about the internet is that it allows some mouths to be louder than others. You know, most famously in the form of negative reviews. You know, one unhappy patient or client can lead to all kinds of chaos if they write a negative review, and that can affect business. But also on the opposite side, the internet allows people to share their positive experiences, to recommend you to their friends and family in a way unlike ever before. And more than anything, the behavior that we have when it comes to a word of mouth referral is very different now than it was 5 or 10 or 30 years ago when a friend recommends something that you need. So today we wanted to look at some of the ways that the internet, your website, and your online marketing are crucial to even word of mouth referrals, which I think doctors don't often associate with their online marketing. The first area is your mobile website. Now, when it comes to word of mouth referrals, most of the times these happen in a social setting. You know, it's not very often that you're thinking of something that you need and then you take a survey of all your friends and ask them, well, who's your dentist? Who's your dentist? Who's your dentist? And then you make a decision. Or if you've seen those TV commercials where people are asking for, you know, recommendations on contractors and things like that. Those aren't real life scenarios. But what happens much more frequently is you're out to lunch. Maybe your friend is complaining about their back pain or talking about how they used to have back pain and then they saw a certain chiropractor, or they're telling you a story about a doctor's office visit that they had, or they're just talking about their lives and their day, and the topic comes up naturally. Now, when it happens in natural conversation in a social setting, what happens is if I'm interested and my friend mentions a provider, usually I'll pull out my mobile phone and I'll Google them right away. You know, I'm not going to just store this information for days later. I'm not going to ask my friend for the phone number and address and the hours. Right? We all turn to Google when we want information like that, or their website. So natural experience, someone pulls out their mobile phone, Googles you, and looks for your information. And in doing so, they're going to come across your Google business page. But then when they go to visit your website, they're going to come across your mobile website. So a bad mobile experience on your website and through your online marketing can really cripple your word of mouth referrals, because in the moment that someone mentions you, in the moment that that person now wants immediate information, if you're missing your phone number, your hours, if it's hard to navigate, if you can't request an appointment, you are immediately creating a bad impression, and a word of mouth referral might be good enough to overcome that initial bad impression, but it doesn't change the fact that you're not capitalizing on that word of mouth referral, and you're also slowing down the process, where they might just tap a couple buttons and send you their information, or call right away if you're available. You slow them down. Now they have to wait till they get to a computer to try to look up the information and remember to call. And you never want someone to have to remember a word of mouth referral. You want them taking action in the moment. So having a good mobile website, absolutely crucial. Making sure the user experience is seamless, that all the calls to action are clear, and that someone who knows nothing about you can land on your mobile website and get the information that they need. Now, the next form of word of mouth referrals online is the most obvious, online reviews, right? This is really kind of what exploded small business engagement online when the reviews started happening. Whether you're a restaurant, a mechanic, or a doctor, the fact that now anybody that you do business with, or even sometimes fake people, can just go online and say whatever they want about your business. This has created an entire industry, whether you're Yelp or Google reviews, review tracking, the list goes on and on. So the idea is that your happy patients and clients have a platform now to share their experiences, which other people will read and positively affect their impression of you, and so do the unhappy clients that are having bad experiences. Now, unfortunately for business owners, someone who's unhappy is much more likely to go ahead and leave you a review than someone who is happy. Most people tell you that they're happy by continuing to return to your business and doing business and building a relationship with you and your staff. That's their way of letting you know. But online reviews are an extremely important part of word of mouth referral in both directions. So let's say that I want to recommend, my dentist, Dr. Esham, to Greg over here, and I tell him how I had a great experience. So Greg pulls out his mobile phone, pulls up Dr. Esham, and sees that he has a 3.5 on Google in his reviews, or a bad score on Yelp. Now, that's not good. That's not good for Dr. Esham. That's not good for me, because now Greg may be questioning my judgment. Maybe I think he's great, but if everyone else says he's terrible, maybe Pras doesn't really know anything when it comes to referring providers. Or it's a bad look on, Dr. Esham, and even if Greg was thinking about going to him because I said so, now he's having doubts about using that provider because of what everybody else beyond just me is saying. But same scenario, I recommend it. Greg looks them up. They have over 100 reviews for a 5.0. Now he's confirmed with social proof what he's hearing from me. So, kind of whenever you make a buying decision, you usually need multiple points pushing you in one direction. You hear about it, you see it online, it fits your price points, all of that. We've created two all at once. I vouched for them personally, then he had the social proof. So good reviews or bad reviews can go a long way of even that experience of having a word of mouth referral. Meanwhile, think about the opposite. If I'm considering your business and I see your reviews and they're horrible and I decide not to use your business for that reason, that word of mouth can spread too. Maybe we're talking about where we're going to go for lunch. Greg suggests, the Chicago Fireside Grill. And I'm like, I looked them up on Google. They have a 2.0. And there goes that referral. So negative reviews can actually cripple what could have been a word of mouth referral or real people having a conversation about your business, because all it takes is one person in that conversation uncovering really bad reviews, and now everybody is soured on the experience. And especially in today's day and age, short attention spans, quick action, everything at the touch of our fingertips through our mobile phone, we move quickly, and anything that slows us down or creates doubt can often stop action altogether, and meanwhile there's another solution that presents itself right away. So your online reputation, your reviews are not just a way of creating word of mouth referrals, but they can actually affect the experience of a word of mouth referral and create a problem or back up what people are saying about you. Another element of word of mouth referrals these days is social media. And I think that the biggest way that happens is by staying top of mind. So when you have a strong social media following, when you have consistent content going out, when you have engaging and interesting information, posts, activity, when you have people commenting, when you have your staff responding to comments, this creates a buzz online and in social media. And the reason that can lead to word of mouth referrals is that the positive association and the positive word of mouth that comes from that, and just being top of mind, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm scrolling through my Facebook or my Instagram feed, and I see a great post from my optometrist, maybe a cool new pair of glasses, and I show it to Matt. Hey Matt, check this out. Oh, that's cool. Where's that from? Oh, it's on my optometrist page. They're carrying this new line of glasses. You should check it out. So it can actually create conversation because all of your patients and clients are on social media, scrolling through. If you can stop and grab their attention, it could start a conversation. It could be something that they share. It could even be something as simple as me liking or double tapping that post and someone else seeing it. Now they're engaging with the business, and we call this implicit word of mouth. If I follow or like or interact with a dentist or an optometrist page, and my friends see that, they know that I trust that business and that I interact with that business and that I likely use that business. So even if I don't go to them and say, hey, you have to check out my optometrist, through social media, they can actually see who my optometrist is. And then if they are in a moment where they need one, that name can come to mind and let me check them out. I know that Pras goes there, even without me explicitly telling them. So that's definitely one form. The other form where word of mouth kicks in is if you can get engagement and activity on your social media posts. So if you create a post, thanking your patients and people are responding down below or saying what a great experience they had or sharing a positive testimonial, now their friends and family see them saying great things about your business online, and that obviously, even though they're talking to your practice, because everybody else can see it, it creates word of mouth referrals as well, where think about the number of things you know about your friends and family just through social media and not because they told you, but you saw what they were doing on social media. Now you have information about them and you make assumptions and inferences based on what they're doing online. So a good social media page and a strong social media presence can fuel word of mouth referrals both directly and indirectly. Now, of course, another way to tackle word of mouth referrals is to create them within your practice, right? And you always need to consult your local medical boards, your local organization, state, city, national even, to see what their policies are on incentivizing referrals or having a referral program or really doing anything of this sort. Always make sure that you're clear on what you can and can't do. But within the practice, you can directly promote word of mouth referrals. Well, how do you do that? Of course, the first step, having happy patients and happy clients to the point where they would want to talk about you in a positive manner. But that's not enough. A lot of people have that. Doesn't mean that they get a ton of word of mouth referrals. The next is to encourage it. So there's all kinds of ideas, right? You can do referral cards that you hand out, maybe a business card size piece of design that has maybe a discount for a new patient on one side, and on the back it has the refer information, right? That's pretty old school, but if you hand them out and people bring them back in to receive some kind of discount or incentive, that can go a long way. Email campaigns out to your current patient base, talking about why referrals are important and they're the heart of your practice, and you would love it if they could forward the email along to 2 or 3 people. Or if they know people that could benefit from your services, maybe sharing that information with you as the business if you have a staff that can then reach out and see how they're doing. Also, in-person word of mouth, right? If you have events, if you're out in the community doing things, if you're having a trunk show, my optometrist had a trunk show over the weekend for my Kaida frames, right? Invite people to bring a friend who's never been to that practice and say, hey, if you bring a friend who's not a patient, we'll have this bonus or this prize or this gift for you. And actually have a fun experience with it. Have them come in, give the new person, a tour around the practice, or have something to engage them, where even if they don't come in and use you as a doctor, they're going to have a good time. And again, spread the word. Really what you're trying to do is create buzz, create people talking, and you can do that with referrals and incentives. You can have gifts, you can have giveaways, you can even have discounts, again, based on what you're allowed to do in your area. But the key is to offer it to both the referee and the referrer. Because if you just do it for one or the other, a lot of times they forget to mention it, or they don't take any urgency in recommending you. But if both parties get something in that scenario, then usually the person that comes in will be very quick to point out who referred them, and the person who you want spreading the word of mouth referrals will tell people about it because they know there's a little something in it for them. So beyond just your superstar patients who can't stop talking about you and tell everyone, you can encourage everyone to do so by giving them something in return. And I think the most important factor when you're talking about this kind of word of mouth is it only takes one person to literally change a business. And before you doubt that, thinking like, how could one patient, change a business? It's about who that person is and how the word of mouth referral can happen, right? So a lot of times when we propose these ideas, doctors look at the cost, they look at what they might be losing, and they're worried about giving that out for every new patient. Maybe I could have gotten these new patients any other way. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to hit what we call the superstar patients. So imagine one of your patients happens to be a hairdresser, right? And all day long, they have people coming through their salon, sitting in front of them and chatting for 30 minutes. If you've got that person on your side telling the world about how great you are, they're going to tell a lot of people just in the course of their daily life. Maybe someone is a tutor and they go home to home in your community and they meet different families, and what it would mean if that person started recommending your business everywhere you went. So I don't mean one person, just the person that comes in. But if you get the right person talking about you in their community, like I said, certain mouths are louder than others, meaning that they can have a larger reach. And if your referral program gives away a lot, but you get that one person on your side making use of this incentive program or what they accrue or what they benefit from by recommending you, you can have really powerful connections. And also important, not just to your current patients, make sure you do this to the local businesses around you. If you're in a strip mall, if you have neighbors, make sure they're in on it too, because they might not come see you every day, but they're around you every day. They might know someone like, oh yeah, there's a chiropractor right next door to me. I've heard really great things. You should check them out, friend that's having back pain. And if you have that kind of a network going of people that want to share things about your business, you're really going to do well in terms of word of mouth referrals. Now, the next area to consider when it comes to word of mouth and your marketing is your offline marketing. How are you capitalizing on all the events and the reach that you have, the people that you have out there in terms of building your word of mouth? And we talked about all the different ways you can do it, right? Your mobile website, your reviews, your social media, in-house programs. But what about when you're actually just out and about in the community? How is that creating word of mouth referrals? Well, in the last point, we kind of alluded to how you can go to local businesses, not just your neighbors, but let's say you go around to, over time, all the businesses within like a 1 square mile block or a 1 mile radius of your business. How about dropping in to each of them, right? Introducing yourself as a business owner, hopefully buying something from that business. Things always go much better when you do, or using that business in some way. Introducing who you are and what you do and where your practice is, and letting them know, hey, look, if you guys ever need anything, come on in. I'll give you the friends and family discount, right? You never know when someone wants to come in during their lunch break or right before work or right after work, rather than going back to where they live and seeing a local provider. And then you could also say, hey, look, I'm going to leave a stack of business cards. I'm going to leave some brochures or pamphlets right here. I've put your name on them. If anyone comes on in with one of these, I'll go ahead and give back to your business in this way. Whether it's a donation, whether it's using them to cater your next office lunch, whether it's just buying gifts from there, there's always something you can do in return for a business. So now, not only do you have the people and the employees in the business, hopefully thinking about using you and maybe wanting to come see you because you took the time to personally introduce yourself, but if they have a good experience, or even if they just want the incentive you're offering, they might make sure to mention it to their clients and say, hey, oh, by the way, I heard you talking about this. If you ever need, a podiatrist, here is the information of this guy. He's right down the road. He came on in, seems like a great doctor. Check him out. Make sure you give him this brochure when you do that. Now, if you think about that, so let's think about a pediatric dentist, for example. If there's any kind of daycare or after-school activity within a couple miles of a pediatric dentist's office, you definitely want to have a positive relationship with them, not just for them and their staff, but think of all the parents that are coming and going, likely sitting there in those seats waiting for long periods of time for their kid to be done. And you never know when there's going to be a dental emergency, the kid is going to fall and need immediate attention. The owner of those facilities should know, hey, look, guys, if you ever have a dental emergency, come right in. You don't even have to call. Just come right in. I'll make sure to take care of you. I'll make sure to take care of the child. And, we'll worry about the rest later. I'll give you the professional discount. Now you've got goodwill, which is really what we're going after in your community. And yes, you can be sure that if they have good experiences, when a parent asks them or if they hear a conversation about someone needing dental care for their child, they're going to mention you as an option. So remember, what you're trying to do is build goodwill, because at the heart of word of mouth referrals is goodwill. If someone thinks positively about your business, happy to share your information. Someone has a really positive experience, wants to tell other people. That's kind of what word of mouth is built on. And even in this day of the internet, we trust what our friends and family tell us over what we read online. We hope that they both mesh and that we're getting good advice on both sides, but we still put a lot of stock in what someone says. So the more you build goodwill in your community, right? Sponsor the local sports team. It's about being a topic of conversation. You don't expect someone to just walk around talking about how great your practice is, but you hope if your practice comes up in conversation that they're going to have really glowing things to say about you. I was just talking to one of our clients about this earlier today. if you have a banner at a local sporting event, maybe the high school basketball game, odds are that people aren't just coming to the game dying to tell everybody about your services, but two parents are having a conversation, the banner's right there, it comes up in conversation, and they're like, oh yeah, we've had a good experience. They sponsor the team. They made some great donations when we asked. They helped us buy the uniforms, and you create that goodwill where people do want to reciprocate. People do want to go to local businesses that do good things for the community, especially when you think about the alternative of going to like a corporate dental office, maybe a mega practice. When you know someone is involved in the things that you care about, you're more likely to reciprocate. And recently I posted on Instagram one of these examples, and I asked the question in reverse. I said, all right, think about your own behavior. If you were debating between two coffee shops, and you knew one of them was owned by a patient that you liked, and one of them was owned by someone you didn't know, which one would you be more likely to go to? All things equal, you're going to go to the one you want to support, someone that you do business with, that you see a member of your community, that you want to succeed, so you're going to go there. So don't forget that the reverse can be happening all the time. And the more people you and your staff meet in your community and make real relationships with, the more likely they're going to want to do business with you and then spread the word because they have a real reason to do so. So I hope those tips were helpful and hopefully enlightening as to how, even when we're stuck in such a mindset of word of mouth referrals, we have to increase our word of mouth referrals, and you don't think of the internet, you don't think of online marketing, there's so many important components to having a really great word of mouth system or having protocols and procedures in place that encourage word of mouth referrals. Making sure you have a good mobile website, making sure your reviews are strong, making sure you have a great social media presence that's always engaging people, having an in-house referral program or incentive for referrals. And lastly, building goodwill in the community and your offline marketing being strong. If you do all of those at a high level, then every time word of mouth happens, you're going to get the most out of it. You're going to have the best likelihood to succeed, or the best chance of an immediate conversion where someone just wants to call right away and come on in for an appointment. So hopefully you can take some of these tips and start implementing them. They all take practice, they all take consistency, but if you start using them within your practice, you will see an increase in word of mouth referrals. Even if people don't talk about you any more than they do currently, you will see an increase in referrals actually showing up to your door. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Practice Growth with Pras. I'm your host, Pras Murthy, and if you have any questions or comments, please visit us at drmultimedia.com. Also, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're constantly sharing new content as part of our mission to take online marketing topics and make them relevant to your practice. And if you like what you heard, please tell a friend and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Thanks so much for listening, and we can't wait to do it again.